Hi, this is Nick Forster. This week in eTown, we're going to revisit one of our favorite shows, and it starts right now.
From eTown Hall in the foothills of the Rocky Mountains, it's eTown with this week's guests from the Ozarks, Willi Carlisle. Interview guests Slava and Anya from the movie Porcelain War. And from New Orleans, Anders Osborne. I'm Helen Forster. Right now, please join me in welcoming our host, Nick Forster.
Thank you, Ellen. Thanks, everybody. Welcome to eTown. You know, a lot of happy-sounding folk songs or bluegrass songs are really about murder and death and destruction. But they sound happy. This week we're going to cover some serious stuff. We've got stories of struggle, conflict, addiction, being broke, life and death in an unjust war. All stories that are told in songs, sometimes in conversation. And like those happy-sounding bluegrass songs, we are still going to have some fun. It's true. Willi Carlisle is here for his first visit. Poet, folk singer, traveler, pull no punches kind of observer of what's happening out there in the world. He's going to be up later. Slava and Anya, the subjects and co-creators of an award-winning documentary, Porcelain War, they're part of this week's show. Their commitment to making art and celebrating beauty while fighting literally to protect their hometown of Kharkiv in eastern Ukraine and their country and their culture. It's an incredible story. We're going to touch on that in a while. And up first, a globetrotter who landed in New Orleans from his native Sweden. And over the decades, he's grabbed all the things that New Orleans has to offer. He's a versatile and gifted musician, singer, songwriter, a partier who let that get out of control and then reeled it back in, then began to help others trying to stay sober. But all the while, he has been writing songs and recording. His latest record is called Picasso's Villa, and it includes a few songs about his early days in New Orleans and some great new ones. He's one of our favorites. Please welcome back to the stage here at eTown, Anders Osborne.
Thank you, thank you. I'm a globetrotter. I like it. I'm going to do a little variety, not all new stuff. From Jacksonville to Wichita, hitched a ride with an actress from L.A. She drove and talked through a cloudy night, swore to me she would make it big one day. I didn't sleep a single wink, but we got to Austin in a blink as the sun was setting gently on the Capitol. Her name was Mary Angeline. She filled my heart with light and mystery. I spend a day on Guadalupe, watching people having somewhere they should be. Yeah, business suits and hippie kids, but none of them seem to be all that free. I found a dog in a fifth of gin, an empty bar there were letters in, with a jukebox that only played Townes Van Zandt. Yeah, I stayed a while and sang along, but I know when it's time to move on. Moving on. Yeah, learn to read the room and move along. It's not up to me to fix everything that's wrong. Yeah, I'm moving on. Yeah, I drifted for a year or two. I learned to be real happy with what I got. I left Telluride and Santa Fe for a dusty lot in sleepy paradise. Yeah, I worked the mines from dusk till dawn, fell asleep in the Apache sun, dreamt about a rainy New Orleans. Yeah, the loneliness and the desert life was the closest thing I've known to God's true light. You know, one day I just dropped it all. I saw no point in being all this blessed. Yeah, with $50 in Grandpa's suit, got on a bus to the Valley of San Ynez. I lied my way to a job or two, learned to talk like the rich folk do, till the mighty Mississippi River called me home. Now I'm gliding through the Everglades, trying to hitch a ride back to Key West. Yeah. Moving on, moving on. Yeah, learn to read the room, then move along. Moving on, moving on. It's not up to me to fix everything that's wrong. Yeah, I'm moving on. Go, hey!
Thank you. Anders Osborne, welcome back to eTown. Great to see you.
You too.
Great to hear you, and congrats on another new record. It is a thing you keep doing. You just write songs and make records and go out and tour them.
Yeah.
It's a blue-collar gig, isn't it, playing music?
It is.
It's work. It's a work thing.
It's the thing we do.
Yeah. I mentioned at the top that you're a world traveler and that your first song was about moving on. It was kind of almost like I've been everywhere, mentioning all those towns. Mm-hmm. But you found your place. You went to New Orleans and you decided that was your place. Been there more than 30 years, right?
Yeah, it's been 40 years, I think, next year, yep.
Wow.
When you first get to New Orleans, most people go, oh my God, this is amazing, this is so much fun, right? But there is a small percentage that goes, this is dirty, this is crazy, nothing's working, I'm scared, you know. So there is that aspect of it. When I was, teenager getting there, it was like the dangerous part was so awesome. That was kind of the whole deal. But the one thing that really clicked with me was 2 months into being there, all of a sudden I'm having a conversation in the grocery store, and it goes on for 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's somebody I just met. My ice cream's melting, and it's just like, whatever. And they never asked where I was from. It was never something that came up.
Yeah.
Just talked about things.
Well, let me ask you about these days, because that openness, that willingness to feel like everybody's welcome, doesn't matter where you're from, the times have changed a little bit since then. I suspect in New Orleans it's less pronounced than in some other southern cities, for example. But people's guards are up a little bit. Like, What's your perspective? Where are you coming from?
Politics was more fun. It wasn't so threatening. There was like more fluid conversations about how you think life should be approached, especially how the society should be. Now it's more hard-lined. So a lot of people, I think, myself included, choose not to say anything about certain ethical things that are important to speak up about. But lately, God darn it, the things I have to say, you know. But I try not to make it that politics have changed, because politics is the same. It's driven by economy, obviously. But you know what I'm saying, right?
I know what you're saying, and I also know that what I think New Orleans is a great example of is how the arts and music in particular can just cut across all that nonsense.
Yeah.
Like it's going to cut through all those boundaries and borders and bring people together, aiming them in the same direction, and create those connections. But it may not happen outside of the club or outside of the,
I think
being
it
in the
does,
band.
though. It really does. Yeah, I think it spreads. You know, most people don't go out.
Yeah.
It's a rare, you guys are rare. The people that come out and go see shows like this, you're supporting us for 40 years. You guys have paid my bills, so thank you. Yeah, no, give yourself a round of applause. That's great. It's fantastic. And it's like football. I love football. I'm into it hard, but I don't like to go to the game because of all the hoopla around it, right?
Yeah.
But you have to, if you want the game to stick around, you got to go.
What a weird connection. What a weird analogy. Football. I didn't think you would go there. Jesus.
Let me go deeper.
Yeah, no, please don't. So shifting gears a little bit, I know I mentioned earlier on that you had your times when you were really into the party and the dangerous side of New Orleans, and you reeled it back in. You've been helping people stay sober. And part of that is just understanding yourself a little better, and I imagine developing some kind of spiritual practice, like meditating or something. Do you do that?
Very much, every day, yeah. I think when I first got sober, it's been 15 years now, it was like AA was, everything, every day, meetings, because I needed help badly, I was homeless and it was terrible. And then once you get sober enough to kind of see other things, all those doors start to open up. New literature, new shows you like, new people you hang out with. And before you know it, you're going to retreats, you're meditating. I used to meditate, but the way it kicked in 10, 12 years ago with a sober, clear head, it's vast difference. Yeah, vast difference.
You're still writing songs a little bit wistfully about those dark days of hanging out and partying and living in an old rusted car and drinking hard. And
yeah. It wasn't all bad. My dad said, you did your quota and 5 other guys' quota. You had to stop.
Yeah. Well, it's great that you're able to process it all and turn it into music, turn it into songs. And like I was saying, the music is what brings us together, crosses those boundaries. But I'm glad you're still doing it. Glad you're here.
Thank you.
We should play some more music.
Yeah. Thanks,
Welcome
Dave.
back, Anders Osborne.
This song is the opening track of the new record, Picasso's Villa. Enjoy. I didn't even know your name, but we made sure to be fast friends. Still think about it now and then. Dark decay to love, fast and fading love. From Christmas Eve to Mardi Gras, we slept in that abandoned car, smoking cigarettes and drinking hard. Dark decay to love, yeah, tall and tainted love. He dressed up like thieves and gypsy queens, played saxophones and mandolins. From Molly's bar to Dragon's Den, dark decay to love, yeah, slow and silly love. grease and baby oil. But she liked girls much more than boys. Yeah, dark Decatur love, tall and tainted love. Two funerals and Halloweens. Yeah, the new blood kept pouring in. Yeah, we were immigrants and charlatans. Yeah, dark Decatur love. Yeah, low and lying love. We made up our own parades, and some of them still roll today. Yeah, to be ourselves was the only way. Yeah, dark Decatur love. Yeah, fast and fighting love. Jack Quigley and his only friend used to play down at checkpoints back then. Front of duck ladies and chicken men. Yeah, dark Decatur love. Yep, fast and fading love. We spend hours in that laundromat, quoting Beastie Boys, Faust and Lestat. And that's where all the drugs were at. Yeah, dark Decatur love. Sweet and sexy love. Hey. Seasons change, but we remain. Young boys wept to wild girls refrain. Wild girls refrain. Shaw. Decatur Street is still who we are. Yeah, dark Decatur love. Fast and fading love. Man, that was swinging.
Anders Osborne, along with the eTones. Eric Turina on the bass, Adam Bodine on the keys, Mark Rains on the drums. Anders Osborne's going to be back later on in the show.
Your visit to eTown is made possible in part by the Bohemian Foundation, building stronger communities through the Bohemian qualities of creativity and imagination. On the web at bohemianfoundation.org. Hey, by the way, I'd like to take this opportunity to remind you that for your viewing pleasure, there are over 2,000 videos on the eTown YouTube channel, where you can also subscribe in order to stay up to date with our latest video offerings. You're listening to eTown.
I'm Nick Forster. You're listening to eTown. Anders Osborne is going to be back to play some more music later on in the show. And coming up from the Ozarks, Willi Carlisle is here to play some songs from his new record, Critterland. Very about him being here. Before we bring Willi out, a few weeks ago we saw a movie at the Boulder International Film Festival called Porcelain War. And it ended up winning the Best Documentary and the People's Choice Awards. And it had also won the Grand Jury Prize for documentary at the Sundance Festival. So it's a big deal. And it won those prizes with good reason. It's the story of a couple, Slava and Anya, who live in Kharkiv, about 19 miles from the border with Russia in eastern Ukraine. Their town has been shelled almost incessantly since the war began, and Slava is in the special forces along with other civilian volunteers. He both trains other civilians in weapons, and he also goes to the front lines with his unit to defend their border. And they are artists who together make beautiful porcelain figurines. They spend time in nature with their dog Frodo. They make tea and meals and have family and friends, but the horrors of the war are real, as Russia's land grab and brutal attack really just leave a trail of destruction all around them. They make art in the midst of all that, and their story is both heartbreaking and inspiring. And they both helped make the film in Ukraine, and they got out, 5-day journey to come to the States for the film's release. And they came to Boulder for the film screening, and I interviewed them, along with co-director Brendan Bellamo. Here is a small piece of that conversation that we had just a little while ago. Slava, I wonder if you could paint a picture for us of what's going on in your hometown of Kharkiv. What does your city look like?
Kharkiv is under shelling, but Kharkiv is a big city. Many people still live in Kharkiv.
Absolutely.
I should mention that Kharkiv is only 19 miles from the Russian border. So it's really very much on the front lines. Mm-hmm. And it suffered a lot of devastation. And there are a fair amount of images in the film of buildings that have been destroyed. And, it's wanton destruction.
But Kharkiv is still alive, and people work, and every city, every village, our anti-plane defense work incredible nice. They have not so many ammunition, have not so many weapon anti-plane to be safe, but they work hard.
And many people have been killed.
Yes, of course, it's maybe it's difficult to understand this, but human life of Russian troops, life of civilian Ukrainians, of civilian Russian, of all people in the world, it's not important for Russian government.
Not only life of the people.
Yes.
They not interested for cities, for buildings.
Yes.
For all buildings, for culture. It's absolutely not interesting.
Because
for them.
all these occupied city, like Mariupol, like Bakhmut, like Avdiivka, completely destroyed. It's a flat place without building.
Empty space.
Empty space, absolutely. Absolutely, all occupied territory, absolutely abandoned. Because it's not important for Russian, only territory expansion.
Slava, I want to ask you about being in nature. It seems like that's a very important part of your life together with Anya and with Frodo, your dog, but also maybe Ukrainians in general have that deep connection to being in nature.
Of course, it's our lifestyle. It's very important for us to be in nature, but also all this national park can be destroyed by Russian attacks. Many our national park destroyed. And maybe it's last opportunity to film this. Maybe it's last opportunity to see this and show to another people.
And how is it that they can destroy a park? With bombing, with burning? How do they?
Of course, it's a huge fire.
Yeah.
thousands of kilometers.
Oh, wow. Also, in addition to the burning and the bombing, there are many landmines that are placed into these parks. Wow. And as Slava visits them, both for inspiration and for filming, he's removing and disarming these landmines that are there to protect other Ukrainians who want to visit nature and continue just living.
Yes, now Ukraine is most mined country in the world.
Wow, more mines in Ukraine than anywhere else in the world. Amazing. And you're also recording this as a record because you see that it's all fragile and that, like a little porcelain figurine, even nature can be destroyed. These people's lives can be destroyed. It feels so profound to go through watching this film because we are filled with that sense of what's precious and beautiful, and we're also seeing that it's at risk. So I want to ask you, Slava and Anya, your heart is still in Kharkiv, and your family and your friends. And so are you going back?
Yes.
Of course.
Yeah. Of course.
When you go back, will you be in more danger because of this film?
I'm not sure. Every man and woman in Ukraine is under danger, is that target.
Mm-hmm. Your film has been successful in ways that I'm sure you couldn't have imagined. You just finished it. You went to Sundance. You got some great recognition there. You had another screening here, another great response from the audience. Obviously, this is a story that needs to be told now.
Absolutely. It's a pivotal time for Ukraine, and by extension, it's a pivotal time for the film to be seen by as many people as we can share it with. And I've had so many people, and Slava has had so many people come up to them and say, how can we help? What can we do? And we've told them, your vote matters. However you choose to vote, think about how it will affect the lives of people in Ukraine, because you can make a difference. And people have said, what can we do personally? And we tell them there are organizations on porcelainwar.com that we know can give incredibly meaningful aid to people in Ukraine.
And obviously, if people want more specific information, we're happy to share whatever we can through our website, eTown.org. Meanwhile, I just think it's an incredible story. And thank you for being here at eTown.
It's an absolute pleasure, Nick. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much to Slava Leontev and Anya Stasenko, along with Paul Dupré-Pessman and Brendan Bellamo. The film is called Porcelain War. You can find out more at porcelainwar.com. Okay, as I mentioned, Anders Osborne is going to be back to play some more music later on. Right now, let me tell you about Willi Carlisle. Willi is a folk singer and a poet who knows exactly what it's like to live in between the spaces where people all fit in. He's not a chameleon who changes his stripes, but he's a keen observer, a wordsmith who believes in the power of music. He writes songs about all the things that are going on, and they're told through the lens of characters that he creates, clowns and cowboys and whatever he comes up with. He sees things that divide us or can be overcome really through singing, especially singing together. I don't know if it's the expansion of the tradition that was sort of started by Pete Seeger and Woody Guthrie or Utah Phillips, or just brought up to date. I don't know, and it doesn't really matter. He's here and he's great, and we're glad he's here. Please welcome to eTown for his first visit, Willi Carlisle.
Thank you for coming to the continued battle of my attention and my medication. I wrote this little imaginative song. It's for everybody that wants a little more magic in the world. It's called Tulsa's Last Magician. Oh, Tulsa's last magician got his start at 4, pulled a quarter from his own ear and spun it on the floor. Said there's no good tricks but old ones, and lying ain't that hard. So he saved up all his quarters and he bought a deck of cards. And he learned ragtime piano, though his teacher thought him slow. He got a black belt in karate from a pawn shop video. And he'd practice all his worst mistakes in a dirty bathroom mirror. Oh, and when his parents drank, he learned to disappear. And his classmates thought him funny, good at sleight of hand. But he had this grand finale and they just couldn't understand. Oh, it's hard to tell the whole truth of a family sawed in half. And that's why Tulsa's last magician left his home so fast. Oh, down and out in Reno, gone broke in Santa Fe, turning tricks on Los Sueñeros out in California. Well, they pushed him up against a wall, said, buddy, get a grip. So he learned to set himself on fire on the Las Vegas Strip. And he wandered down to Tampa, blew everybody's mind, 'cause the crowd was cheap and easy there on beer and blowing wine. They said, I wonder where my dollar went, how'd the flower bloom so fast? He said, I can't reveal my secrets, they rarely failed to ask. Yeah, the crowd all thought him funny, good at sleight of hand. But he had this grand finale they refused to understand. They demanded explanation when the card pulled was their own. That's why Tulsa's last magician lost his faith and headed home. Oh, he said he'd learn computers like his second foster dad, and free range all the rabbits that were living in his hat. His investments all went swimmingly, had the cash on hidden strings. His promotions were a certainty, could make the numbers sing. Now time and space is easy for magic to control. Still, it was 40 years of working before he noticed he was old. Now his great escape and act is just untying both his shoes. And most days he's in his easy chair yelling at the news. And the weatherman is funny, talking with his hands, but black clouds are coming in. Oh, no one understands how somebody's true religion is always someone else's joke. And that's why Tulsa's last magician kinda just went up in smoke. So friend, if you're the kind that thinks no one quite gets quite what you are, like you're a cobbler or a mechanic in this age of flying cars, if you think that you see right behind what's right before our eyes, you might be a small town's last magician in disguise. And I need you to be funny, be good at sleight of hand, 'cause there's a grand finale we can't hope to understand. There's a 1 in 52 chance it's real magic and it's true. So won't you please help us believe? Won't you please help us believe in you? Thank you, friends. This is called Two-Headed Lamb. Just a little farm anecdote. In the middle of a Tennessee midwinter rain, a two-headed lamb was by the old ewe born. And as she latched on to her mother, the cry rang out double. She was dead in the meadow by the morning. Oh, before the fog had lifted, the coyotes picked her clean. And the old ewe resigned herself to lay in hay and bleed. And as he walked out that morning, the old man didn't look to see. Out of season sweet persimmons in the old growth tree. And I know scattered o'er the cursed worlds are frightening bones to find. The bones of people born too soon and lambs too strange to survive, born only meat for wolves, born a freak to humankind. Still there were 4 eyes shining bravely in the meadow that night. Oh, the 2-headed lamb was found by the old man in a ditch by the meadow in the spring. And as he scratched his head and chuckled, said, even God can mess a thing up. Oh, he overlooked an ordinary thing. He overlooked an ordinary thing. It was twice the robin singing in the old growth tree.
Thank you, friends.
Man, I just went on a little journey. That was amazing. That was incredible.
Thanks for going with me.
Willi Carlisle. Man, oh man, it's hard to know where to start, but I might as well ask you a couple things about your introduction to the world of words and songs and music and instruments. Is that something you started when you were a young person?
Not by choice, my dad was in bluegrass bands, but they were a dirty secret by the time I was a kid, so as soon as you find out that something is forbidden and you're not to know about it, well, then we started playing the records all the time. I turned to it when I was around 18, actually playing, though.
That's cool. But bluegrass is a dark pathway to to an uncertain future. And I mentioned that you're sort of used to living outside of any particular category or box or tribe and navigating your way as an outsider in a way, but also creating your own community.
Yeah, it's been really cool to see this thing I'm doing take off just a little bit, and it's I say I don't have any community. What I will say is that anybody that takes a chance on paying for a ticket on Monday night to see an unknown folk singer, it kind of is the community, and we build it kind of one show at a time,
Yeah. And you... Well, listen, I think it's a beautiful trajectory, but I also don't want to pay short shrift to the fact that there's some potent ideas that you're circulating, that this is a sort of late-stage capitalism and the injustices in the world and the judgment that's out there are all things that you are both experiencing and chronicling.
One of the crazy things about that is we're kind of living in a world where neoliberalism has won, and then there's these little patches of freedom that we can grow in our own communities, like in this room right now where ideas can be exchanged and people with different ideas can meet and collaborate, right? I think of any little music scene as like kind of holding that door open to kind of a different way of thinking.
Yeah, and folk singers have traditionally just navigated that kind of underground railroad of one club to the next and figured out word of mouth where to go and who to find. And I love the fact that one of your sort of true north artists that you have gleaned some inspiration from is Utah Phillips, who was a frequent guest on eTown and somebody we get to spend a lot of time with, and someone who also thought about presentation as well as messaging, and of course songwriting and music too.
Utah Phillips was like a good anarchist in so many ways. He used to say like he wanted to make a living but not a killing. And I love this idea that in any endeavor there's a way to have just enough, and that just enough is like as good as wealth in a lot of ways. Why I'm really honored to be a folk singer is that it's impossible to live up to the standard of the firebrand ideologues that have come before you. But boy, you could spend your lifetime trying and hopefully do something good with that.
Yeah. And, well, it was funny. I just spent a couple weeks in Ireland with Joel Savoy, who produced the record just before this last one of yours. And then, of course, Daryl Scott produced your latest record, and he's a frequent guest here. And you're in the gang, man. And it's great because I've been hearing about you from people who are not in the mainstream, but people whose opinions and ears I really respect. And serious folks have been telling me about this guy, Willi Carlisle. And so I'm glad we get to meet, hang out.
Thanks.
Yeah, glad
it's an
you're
honor
here.
to get to work with people I've admired my whole life. So thank you.
Wow, thanks, Willi. Well, let's hear some more music.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Welcome back, Willi Carlisle.
Thank you so much, friends. I want to invite the band out for this last one. Best way to follow up the squeeze box, if you set the bar this low, is to play the banjo. This is called Critterland. I could have been a businessman. I was too hot-headed, plus I never had the money, plus I kinda got arrested. But my sweet old folks thought I'd make a pretty decent one of those, and I still live the kind of life where people judge on your clothes. Now it's 40 miles of back road on all-terrain tires, that little blue hymnal sitting open all the while, singing songs to a God I've met but do not know, making wagers on the critters that we'll see crossing the road. Yeah, the sparrow on the wing taught me to find you, and the possum knows her own mind more than I do. I'm here for all the love that I can stand. Take me to Critterland. In the decade of our loving, we've grown to not so young. I've come to know the seasons by the lashing of your tongue. But the propane gently sputters, there's spring water in our tap. Oh, why can't we feel the peace of this sweet dog upon our laps? Yeah, the granny witch and herbalist have remedies for us. It's a tincture and a prayer poured down the holler of our guts. On a homestead in the pine beds, we've grown our holy power. Oh, laying bare like critters there, hour by love and hour. The sparrow on the wing taught me to sing with you, and the possum keeps her young closer than I do. Oh, I'm here for all the grief that I can't stand. Take me to Critterland. Oh, I never thought I could love like this. You might call me a queer or a communist, but I'll go along to get along, darling. It feels so right. 'Cause why have a God if no one is saved? I think love is a burden. If it ain't brave, I'll live and die forever there, right there in that divide. 'Cause it's hard to say what I have learned from all these hills and hymns, but we're dying and we're singing, and I love you and we've sinned. And when marauders come, 'cause the apocalypse is nigh, I want my rifle on my shoulder and my lover by my side. I want to be the kind of man that stands his ground and dies. Take my fiddle and my good hat, I'll go out in style. I'm gonna do it for my family, not for glory or a god. In the war that's raging between the haves and the have-nots. Yeah, the sparrow on the wing taught me to fight for you. And the possum keeps her teeth sharper than I do. I'm here for all the bad when I can't stand. At the Battle of Critterland. It's the Battle of Critterland.
Thank you, friends. Thanks, guys.
That's Willi Carlisle. Along with eTone's Eric Tureen, Adam Bodine, Mark Rains on the drums this week. Willi Carlisle.
This portion of eTown is made possible in part by the Scientific and Cultural Facilities District, or SCFD, one of the largest cultural funding mechanisms in the United States, supporting nearly 300 organizations in the greater Denver, Colorado area. You're listening to eTown.
That's eTones. I'm Nick Forster. I'd like to say hello to our listeners who are hearing eTown right now on stations like KODK in Kodiak, Alaska, on WRSI in Turner Falls, Massachusetts, and throughout the Pioneer Valley, and on WMOT in Murfreesboro and Nashville, Tennessee. As always, if you'd like some more information about any of the things that's happening here at eTown, there's lots of stuff online at eTown.org. You can also check out our YouTube channel where we have a few thousand killer videos for you to explore someday when the weather is not so great. Dive in, see what happens. You can subscribe to our podcast to hear all kinds of earlier shows, and hopefully just get on our mailing list and keep in touch. All right, I told you this would be fun, and I also told you that it would be fueled by struggles. Of course, Slava and Anya making fragile art in eastern Ukraine, and Anders and his journey through all the challenges that he had, and finding his spot, and Willi and his restless search for the truest part of every day. The world is full of challenges, and we can still be kind and be good listeners, help each other out along the way. I know we can do it. So right now, would you please help me welcome back to the stage Anders Osborne. Hey, man. Anders Osborne. Once again, the house band, the eTones. Eric Tureen on the bass. Adam Bonita on the keyboards. Mark Rains on the drums this week. Helen Forster singing harmony. Anders Osborne. We're going to do one more song. I want to thank all our guests. A special thanks to Anders Osborne coming up from New Orleans. Really appreciate it. Thanks to Slava Leontyev and Anya Stasenko, and of course Brendan Bellamo from the movie Porcelain War. Thanks for sharing that incredible story with us. Thanks to the eTones, to Helen Forster. Thanks to Willi Carlisle, coming up from his home in southwestern Missouri. We're going to play one more song. This song, now more than 60 years old, is as true and telling as ever. I'm Nick Forster. Hope you can be with us next week right here in eTown.
Oh, where have you been, my blue-eyed son? Oh, where have you been, my darling young one? I've stumbled on the side of 12 misty mountains. I've walked and I've crawled on 6 crooked highways. I've stepped in the middle of 7 sad forests. I've been out in front of a dozen dead oceans. And I've been 10,000 miles in the mouth of a graveyard. It's a hard, it's a hard, it's a hard, it's a hard, it's a hard rain's gonna fall. Oh, what did you see, my blue-eyed son? Yeah, what did you see, my darling young one? I saw a newborn baby with wild wolves all around it. I saw a highway of diamonds with nobody on it. I saw a black branch with blood that kept on dripping. I saw a room full of men with their hammers a-bleeding. I saw a white ladder all covered with water. I saw 10,000 talkers whose tongues were all broken. I saw guns and sharp swords in hands of young children. Yeah. It's a hard, it's a hard, it's a hard, it's a hard, it's a hard rain's gonna fall.
And what did you hear, my blue-eyed son? And what did you hear, my darling young one? I heard the sound of the thunder, it roared out a warning. Heard the roar of a wave that could drown the whole world. Heard 100 drummers whose hands were a-blazing. I heard 10,000 whispering and nobody listening. I heard one person starve, I heard many people laughing. I heard a song of a poet who died in the gutter. I heard the sound of a clown who cried in the alley. It's a hard, it's a hard, it's a hard, it's a hard, it's a hard rain.
This is a production of eTown.